Hello students, Andarki Namaste and a very warm welcome to the IAShub. We are hardly left with less than 70 days time period for the preliminary examination. And this is the time period where most of you might be focusing on writing the mock test. You might be doing some sectional test and you wanting to switch from sectional to full length test, or you have writing the sectional test on a weekly basis and on a weekend you wanted to write a full length test. See, in few sectional tests you might be scoring well and in few sectional tests you are not scoring well. And when you are writing the full length test, your score is not much varying. हमेशा 50 से लेकर 80 के बीच में होता है, but you wanted to score somewhere above 100. Now, these are some problems which every student faces. You need to understand that the time period between 40 days before the examination to 70 days before the examination is the most crucial time period. Now, whatever you're going to do in this time period will decide your result in the preliminary examination. Yes. See, you go and ask a first timer before 50 days before the examination, most of them, what do they say is that, अरे यार, इस बार मैं ready नहीं हूँ, इस बार मैं ऐसे दे देता हूँ, अगले साल मैं serious attempt दे दूंगा. You go and ask a person who have missed their cutoff by 5 to 10 marks. Now, these students are the ones who wanted to read everything and anything that is available in the market. They are in a hurry to read everything. अरे यार, ये भी important है, वो भी important है. But at the end, sometimes they fail to understand and the end result will be the same. You need to understand that the demand of the examination of UPSC is divided into few areas. Now, here, you are supposed to understand that those people who are clearing on a consistent basis, they always grab the low-hanging fruits first. Now, between 40 to 70 days, you should be ready with this low-hanging fruits in your pocket. And at the same time, you need to understand that you cannot learn these things just 10 days before the examination. Now, one such low-hanging fruit is your mapping. See, on a mapping, every year there is at least 15 to 17 odd questions which are asked from the mapping. Yes, you should not be surprised that 15 to 17 odd questions from the mapping alone. Now, let me show you a few questions here. Look at this question. This was asked from the mapping-based question and it is a current affairs-based question. Likewise, there are some questions from the international mapping also. India may be mapping-based questions aate hai, especially location-based questions hai. International relations may be location-based questions hote hai, places in disputes. Likewise, there are sizable number of questions, and if you account these questions, around 15 to 17 are there. If you look into even your history domain or polity domain alone, they'll give you 15 odd questions. Now, there is sizable number of books or good books for history, geography or polity padhne ke liye. But there is no single book which will help you to understand the mapping, and especially with respect to current affairs. So that's why the students fail in getting a good number of marks from the mapping. Now, this is a very big problem most of the students face. So that's why we at the theIAShub would like to ease your preparation, and that too 70 days before the examination and 70 to 50 days before the examination, you should be in a position to be ready with the mapping. So that's why at the theIAShub, we are going to come up with the 100 most important places which were in the news. And there is a significance. If you are taking up a place, the place will have certain kinds of significance in the current affairs and in the static also. So all these important places have been divided into theme-based, like important straits, seas in news, likewise islands in news, rivers in the world, and peninsulas in news, as well as African continent, mountains in news, and other global places which are in news, along with the India mapping. So all of this mapping we shall be covering up in a detailed manner in the mapping module, and this mapping module will help you to bridge the gap of 20 to 25 marks of cutoff, which you can easily gain in less than 10 to 12 hours of your time period. See, you spend near about months together reading the polity, but if you are not spending your time on the mapping, now it becomes very, very difficult for you to add that extra 15-20 marks. So in our mapping module, what are we going to do? We'll be picking up the previous year questions and we'll be trying to understand the trends, and we'll solve all the previous year questions of last 5 years with respect to mapping. Second component, we shall be taking up a scientific pedagogy. We'll not go for a rote learning. Rather, what we'll do is we'll pick up our atlas and we'll map in the atlas, and you'll be given a document, and this document will cover only those important places and the reason why they are in news. Along with that, not just dumping hundreds of pages of content, only specific content which is relevant for the examination. We'll be learning within the classroom itself. You need not go out and spend your additional time. All I need is 10 to 12 hours of your time period along with your atlas and a commitment of 2 to 2.5 hours per day for around 6 classes. Now, here we'll also take up the international relations, those places which are in news as well as those in disputes. In the environment component of mapping, we'll be covering all the national parks as well as the wildlife sanctuaries which are in news, and species which can help us to understand the mapping-based analysis as well. We'll be keeping our classes only to the exam-centric approach. We'll not dump you with too much of information or content, because this is the time period where you have to spend on getting that low-hanging fruits, and easy low-hanging fruits ko aapko yield karna hai, not just by learning everything and anything that is there in the mapping. Only the specific points which are there. We'll be clearing your doubts, and also we'll be going for an interdisciplinary approach. See here, interdisciplinary approach means One, we'll be trying to understand the historical significance of that, as well as the humanistic aspects, the physical geography aspect. For example, if you take Africa, if you do not understand the physical geography of Africa, you may not understand the humanistic side of Africa. So that's why one is expected to know the interdisciplinary aspects of this particular region. And also the mines and minerals which are there in news. Many students face difficulty in taking up that mines and minerals. Because last year there were questions on cobalt, last year there were questions on nickel. So these questions you will not find anywhere. It is because they are found in the current affairs. There is some kind of significance that is there. So those significant topics we'll be picking up and we'll be covering in this module. Now this batch is going to start on 18th of April. The registrations are open. There is a link which is given in the description. You can go into the description and download this entire document as well. You can, if you have any doubts, there's a link that is given. You can also fill your doubts and also comment section में आप अपना questions put कर सकते हो. The IAShub team will be reaching you. Thank you and see you.